You know, you guys always quote 1984 or whatever. You know, this is like an Orwellian move, isn't it?
So it depends on what level of education we're talking about. If we're talking about the idea that critical race theory can be taught as one of many theories on college campuses, I have no problem with it. Marxism is taught as one of many theories on college campuses. If the idea is that we're going to be teaching critical race theory, which is not taught as one of many theories. It's taught as a framework for understanding the world, and it is a lens through which we are to view history. This is something that the founders of critical race theory openly acknowledge. They suggest that critical race theory has a praxis component, meaning it's a practice component that is designed in order to indoctrinate kids in a particular type of thinking about how America's institutions work. Do I think that the taxpayers of the state of Florida have an obligation to subsidize the indoctrination of their children in that? No. And I think that public education as an institution is dedicated not merely to the idea that you send your kids to school and then the teachers dump whatever they want on your kids. I think the idea is that the parents delegate their power to educate their children to the state via the public schools, and then they have the authority and should have the authority to determine what framework is being taught. And the anti-American framework of critical race theory, which is unrooted in actual history, ought not be taught in America's public schools.
Like, critical race theory is literally a footnote in my sociology class, and it's a framework if you want to take it in as a framework.
Listen, I learned critical race theory when I was at Harvard Law School too, right? I mean,
facts, whenever you talk about critical race theory, you say the right things, you know what you're talking about, but because you're a Republican, it's the talking point to go against.
No,
I'm a pro-free speech American, so this deeply concerns me when there are words, exact words, that are being restricted in the public sphere.
Well, that's why
you
I
guys
just distinguish.
opened up by saying marketplace of ideas. So I'm a big marketplace
right.
of
So
ideas
again, I would distinguish between marketplace of ideas in the college realm and when presumably people are old enough to actually understand what they're talking about, have open and interesting debates about these topics, and when you're talking about 11-year-olds or 10-year-olds, or when you're talking about reading Ibram X. Kendi, which is a really dumbed-down version of critical race theory for 5-year-olds.
For colleges, not for 11-year-olds.
Well, then
I'd
be happy to look at the text of the bill and determine what I think about the bill. I do think that public schools, I'm not sure that public schools have an obligation to teach as practical critical race theory. Again, I think there are different ways that it's taught. So if we're talking about just in your sociology class, it's one of many theories about American history, and now we're going to talk about how it applies. I don't really have a problem with that being taught. If we're talking about critical race theory being taught as a framework to view America's institutions to the exclusion of other frameworks, I do have a problem with that. Thank you.